100 years ago in 1923, a group of Applegate women, members of the Wednesday Club formed in 1916, founded a circulating library. The library was housed at the Wednesday Clubhouse. As the number of patrons grew, the library became a popular stop for both young and old. In 1936, the Wednesday Club endorsed the adoption of a Placer County library system. In 1938, the county notified the Wednesday Club it would begin to fund the library and pay the librarians $1,800 a month. The library moved again in 1957 to a new building across Crowther Road. Next stop for the thriving library was in 1963 to the Roberts Building next to the Applegate Post Office. Many members of the original Wednesday Club had joined the Applegate Civic Center Club when it formed in 1946. By then, the Friends of the Applegate Library was active. It was dedicated as a nonprofit for the benefit of the Applegate Library branch and the Placer County Library System. The Friends wanted to build a larger, permanent home for their community library. The Civic Center agreed and joined them in attaining their goal.
The Applegate Library is like walking back in time, and you really get a sense of that small town experience. And that was a huge draw for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people too. Very warm, kind librarians helping you.
The Wednesday Club ladies enlisted their husbands, brothers, friends, and local citizens to get things moving. They received grants of money and the land from the Applegate Civic Center Club and the Applegate Memorial Fund. The two clubs baked cookies, sold books, had dinners, dances, and more. They cajoled local businesses and library patrons for donations of money and materials. And they looked around for the most economical way to make their dreams a reality. The answer was a purchase of a triple-section, used mobile classroom. Some say it was donated, some say it cost $1. These mobile sections could be moved onto the plot of land behind the Civic Center and the fire station. Applegate citizens came together to build their own library.
I am Karen Russell. We lived in Applegate for 36 years. My favorite part was working with the children. The community built the library. They lock, stock, and barrel, and every dollar.
Here's an article from the Auburn Journal dated April 1986, written by Gertrude Houghton.
One of the most inspiring things I have ever witnessed is the accomplishments of a small group of people living in Applegate. In the past few years, they have refurbished the Civic Center building, built a firehouse for volunteer firemen, and now are about to complete a library on their own. And all of this has been accomplished without solicitation of funds from the county, state, or federal government.
Our previous librarian was Marion Oliver, and she was there for a number of years. And there was one little boy who used to drive her crazy with questions. And I loved him because I loved all his questions. Being able to introduce the children to the world of the library was special.
The local folks who chipped in money, time, work, and sweat were repaid in pride. From the beginning, a woman named Jane Haffey led the way. Finally, the construction of the library was finished. An open house took place on June 8, 1987. It's no surprise that when you ask Applegate Library patrons what they most remember from the years past and what activities at the library live on in memory, the answer is nearly always the storybook reading hour and other activities provided as part of the Children's Library program. Librarian Margaret Buer and her successors read a lot of books to children over the years.
I have history with Applegate Library, and it's really a wonderful history. My son, he was born in 1992, and probably about age 2, 3, I started taking him over to the Applegate Library, and it was one of our favorite things to do. And the librarian was always so nice to us and helpful, and we spent a lot of time there. And there was a lot of just fun little activity stuff that you could do there, not just reading or books, but there were other things there that they provided, all learning tools for kids.
The library was a place where everyone was welcome. Adults could borrow more than books. While the kids were reading, women could browse through cooking recipes or sewing patterns. It seems everyone has a story about the library.
My name is Judy Duffy Cook, and I moved to Applegate 15 years ago. And one of the reasons that we chose the house that we chose was because we were close to a fire department, but also within walking distance of the library. My favorite story out of all of the ones that I've heard from people about how they use that library branch is from a woman and how she used to ride her horse to the library and get books.
It was a simpler time. As the years rolled by, expectations and needs changed. The Placer County Library System changed to keep up. In 2018, the county library system had grown beyond its budget.
Because Applegate was a small library with not that many people using it, there was some discussion when there was a budget crunch at the county for the libraries about closing the Applegate Library. They had already closed a branch in Meadow Vista. The Friends of the Library felt that the Applegate Library should stay open because it was at very low cost to the county. And there had been some changes in philosophy with the county library, which weren't good or bad, they were just different. And it looked like we were going to have our doors closed. So grassroots effort with a woman named Sharon Sailing, who was also on the board of the Friends of the Library at that time, and Karen Russell, myself, a woman named Karen Killebrew, who is involved with Placer Arts, and had a lot of good ideas. So we did a grassroots thing with postcards that we had people fill out, and we went and spoke to the supervisors. And as it turned out, the appropriation for the libraries that year was enough to keep our doors open. But over time, the hours that we were open dwindled, I think, as a direct result of usage. Well, then COVID hit, and of course, all the library branches closed.
Despite all the wonderful memories contained in the four walls of the small Applegate Library, it was no longer being used as it was intended. In fact, it wasn't being used at all. On February 28, 2023, the land and building was returned to the Applegate Civic Center Club as the county had promised. The joy of reading it inspired in both children and adults for a century will live on.